Testing? Yep. Good morning. Hopefully everyone had a good night's sleep last night. Today we're going to look at something called Move It or Lose It. I gather that you probably worked out I'm going to be talking about exercise and how important exercise should be in our daily life. Exercise, it increases circulation. So these are the benefits of exercise. Helps with circulation. Increases oxygen intake, which is really important, having an oxygenated body. Increases hemoglobin in the blood, oxygen that can be transported around the body. It normalizes blood pressure, so it actually brings your blood pressure down. A lot of people have the misconception that exercise increases your blood pressure at that moment, but when you exercise, it starts to decrease it. It increases tone of muscles and of blood vessels. So you get more blood circulating around the body, you get stronger muscles, you get stronger tone. And it also helps with the cardiac muscle tone. Remember, muscles are one thing, and don't forget your heart is also a muscle. So you need to exercise your heart also, not just the normal muscles around the body. The heart is also vital. And also it cleans the bloodstream and the body. So it's a really good cleanser through sweats and things like that to get out toxins. If he is diseased, this is a statement from Christian Education, page 183. If he is diseased, physical exercise will often help the system to recover to its normal condition. So there's a pen of inspiration that says, if you have an ailment or if you have an issue with your body, often exercise will help to recover the body back to its normal condition. Exercise. It charges the brain and nerve cells with electrical energy. So you're getting more communication between the brain cells and also the electrical impulses within the brain. And that is true because I worked with a number of autism children. And I did a program that works the right and left hemisphere of the brain, working left side and right side. And after about 3 to 4 weeks, the improvement was enormous. So I can vouch for this personally because I've seen it actually happen in progress. Strengthens muscles, bones, and ligaments. Also, it lowers cholesterol and fats in the blood because you're getting it out of your system. And the body is using fat as energy, especially when you're moving. It helps with digestion. Who went for a walk just after breakfast? Awesome, good to see. So it actually helps with digestion. It burns unwanted fats. It balances the endocrine system, especially hormones. Hormones, where they've found a number of years now, hormones play an important role in women and men in balancing certain things within the body. It slows down the aging process. Don't we all want that? And it promotes the endorphins. So has anyone ever heard of, when we're happy, we've got the happy endorphins? And that's what exercise does. It releases happy endorphins, helps reduce stress. And it promotes good sleep. It helps you sleep well. Relations to the body. Movement is with strength and health. So the more you move, the more strength and the more health. No movement, you decay, you wear out. Health problems without exercising. Many deaths result from a lack of exercise. Lack of exercise is a major contributor to depression, tension, and anxiety. Obesity is a major health concern to not just New Zealand, but other parts of the world, which is becoming a big epidemic, but the biggest concern are children. Over the last probably 10 to 15 years, there has been a shift and an increase of children with diabetes, cholesterol it's phenomenal. 20, 30 years ago, you hardly ever hear about children having these diseases, and now it's very prominent. Physical inactivity results. Physical inactivity is a modifiable risk factor for cardiovascular disease and a wide variety of other chronic diseases, such as diabetes mellitus, cancer, colon and breast, obesity, hypertension, which is high blood pressure, bone and joint diseases such as osteoporosis, osteoarthritis, and depression. Obesity is becoming a phenomenon. Exercise burns the excess calories in the body. So when you exercise, you're burning calories. Exercise helps keep the body at an ideal weight. When there is an excess in calories, the body stores the fat. And exercise helps burn the fat and also keep the body at the ideal weight that your weight needs to be at. It doesn't burn all the fat in the body, but only the excess. Because remember, our body still needs fat to transport hormones, to do other functions within the body. So, a result of non-exercise could be diabetes. Now, a number of years ago, I ran a program in my fitness centre, and it was like a weight loss sort of program. Anyway, I had a client who had diabetes, and she was exercising. The program was exercising 6 days a week, and within those 6 days having 3 personal training sessions. After about 6 weeks, the doctor had said to her, because we work with a GP, and the doctor had said to her, reduce your medication. And then after she actually finished the program, the doctor said, you don't need it anymore. The shift in exercise, but also was in diet, the shift in the lifestyle changed her lifestyle. She didn't have to use those medications any longer. So this was one person that I came across. So, diabetes can be due to a lack of exercise, but also other factors. But when you're exercising, it utilizes the glucose. When you exercise, it needs energy. It gets energy from your glucose. And also it burns fat. So that's what's really important also. And that's what exercise does for someone who's a diabetic. So whoever has diabetes needs to do some form of exercise. And I always say, do something you enjoy. You might like a stroll down, in nature, or you might like, hiking, whatever it may be. You need to have something that you actually enjoy to exercise. Gardening is also a form of exercise. So, depending on the type of gardening, if you're shoveling and stuff like that. So, exercise is not just walking. There's resistance training, which we'll be talking about in a moment. Arthritis. People with arthritis need to do weight-bearing exercises. And what I mean by weight-bearing exercises is lifting a little weight. You might get, 1 or 2 kilo dumbbells. What they found, people with osteoporosis and arthritis, what they found now is they found that it actually helps increase the bone mineral density by doing resistance training. And that's why a lot of doctors and a lot of people with osteoporosis are recommended now to go to a gym or to go and do some form of weight-bearing exercise to help with the mineral density. And it also helps eliminate toxins, especially when you're arthritis. Remember, itis is an inflammation. Arth is of the bone. So inflammation of the bone, what's the best form? Exercise, and you want to eliminate the acid state in your body too. So it's also to do with lifestyle. I'm not just talking about exercise. This is also part of lifestyle, which is really important. Stress is a major factor too. Stress can be so debilitating, but exercise helps to relax the mind, and also it produces the happy endorphins in your body. Depression. Depression has become, it's amazing the amount of people that have depression this day, and anxiety. With the work stresses of life, with demands, things, everything's online, real time now. So people want things now. So depression is becoming a really big thing. Exercise causes the brain to produce more serotonin and more epinephrine, which are neurotransmitters in the brain that reduce depression. So when you exercise, you're producing serotonin. Okay, when you go to sleep, you produce something called melatonin, which helps you go to sleep. And also epinephrine is really important because when we exercise, it actually helps to communication with the brain and helps with reducing depression. Anxiety is also another thing that is becoming a really big factor. We get a lot of people who are anxious, who have anxiety, that they've had a traumatic experience and can't seem to not know how to get rid of that anxiety. Exercise is one to relieve anxiety. Exercise creates a sense of well-being. After you've done a workout or something, don't you feel good? You feel like stress is released. You feel fantastic. Outdoor exercise is greatly beneficial. Getting out in the outdoors. I just went for a walk just a few minutes ago, and just breathing in the fresh air and appreciating nature actually helps you to relax too, and also helps aid in digestion. As I said, greatly beneficial in the fresh air. And also the sunlight. Don't forget, we need the sun for vitamin D. Okay, so we need vitamin D for a lot of things. Without vitamin D, a lot of vitamins and minerals are not assimilated. And getting out in nature, if you can. Sometimes, if you're in the city, it can be quite difficult to get out to nature. Dyspepsia is also, indigestion is also an issue. But when you are exercising, it gives a healthy tone to your digestive organs. And walking after a meal. I'm not talking about going for a jog. I'm talking about a simple, basic stroll after a meal helps aid in digestion. Hypertension or high blood pressure. A lot of people this is like a silent killer. People don't realise that they've even got high blood pressure because you don't know until you get your blood pressure tested. But exercise burns excess fat and cholesterol. And also, muscles assist to pump the blood around the body. And that's what we need. How does the blood get around the body more efficiently? By exercising. How does our body get nutrients? Through the blood, don't we? Life is in the blood, isn't it? Exercise strengthens the heart. Don't forget, your heart is a muscle. And you need to exercise that muscle. And the best form of exercise is cardio exercise, which I'll be speaking about in a moment. Insomnia. This is a big problem with a lot of people. At the Wellness Centre, we get a lot of people who suffer insomnia because of their stresses in life and things like that. But exercise helps to relax muscles. And it also helps increase the melatonin so you can actually sleep, because melatonin is what's released, the hormone that's released at night, so you can actually go to sleep. I love this statement, Counsels on Health, page 173. It says, more people die for the want of exercise than through over fatigue. Many more rust out than wear out. Okay, so you know when if you've got a car there that's been sitting there for a number of years, what happens to it? Hasn't been used and it's got a scratch on it and stuff like that. What actually happens to that car? It starts to rust, doesn't it? So we need to make sure that we move our bodies so we don't rust out. I love that statement. It's one of my favourite statements. This is research that's found in the JAMA. And this is what it says. Every adult should accumulate 30 minutes or more of moderate intensity physical activity on most, but preferably every day of the week. Everyone's got 30 minutes in the day, don't they? I'm sure you can find 30 minutes in a day to do some form of exercise. You know, yes, we are all busy. Yes, we've all got, busy lifestyles. But I'm sure I could find 30 minutes in your day to do some form of exercise. I'm going to talk about the difference between aerobic exercise and anaerobic exercise. They are two totally different types of systems. One works the muscles, and the other one works the heart and getting blood pumping around the body. Does anyone know the difference between them? Correct. And a different form of training. So aerobic exercise uses oxygen. Aerobic uses oxygen when you're exercising. So that means doing something more than 20 minutes. That's when you start to use oxygen in your body. And it also helps with body fat loss. Isn't that good? Anaerobic exercise does not use oxygen. It's things like resistance training or weight training or something called plyometric training. So that's using your own body weight and things like that. It's more sort of strengthening exercises. So the acronym is used called FITT, FIT. Has anyone ever heard of that acronym? FIT. Does anyone want to guess what F means? Nope. Okay. Frequency. FIT means frequency, meaning how often you exercise. I always say if you can do more than 4 days a week, fantastic, but if you can do every day, that's even better. You need to keep active. But once again, you need to do something you enjoy. You might enjoy walking, you might enjoy, bike riding, whatever it may be. Do something that you enjoy and it's not a chore. Because you don't want exercise to be a chore. You want it to be part of your daily life. Intensity means how hard one should exercise. I'm going to give you a calculation because everyone will be different depending on your calculation. And you want to exercise 70% of your maximum heart rate. As you get older, you want to probably exercise about 60% of your heart rate. Time. Time means how long you should exercise of aerobic exercise. 20 to 30 minutes of cardiovascular or aerobic exercise. And that could be something like you might enjoy swimming, you might enjoy cycling, you might enjoy walking or a brisk walk, whatever it may be. 20, 30 minutes of it, if you can, every day. The type, what type of training? That's what it means. There are many different types of training, but obviously walking is beneficial because there's no impact on the back, there's no impact on the knees, there's no jarring, and it's amazing on how it uses all parts of your limbs. I'll keep the questions till later, brother. What is endurance? Endurance exercise. Endurance is the ability to perform work-sustained periods without fatigue. Okay, so something that you can do for 20 minutes or 30 minutes especially of bike riding and walking. I can't do weights for 20 minutes like this. My arms will fall off by the end of it. Okay, so that's endurance and that's aerobic activity. Dependent on some factors. One, the ability of cardiovascular system to supply oxygen, because that's what it does. Cardiovascular system supplies oxygen-rich blood to the muscle cells, and for these utilize oxygen, and oxygen is used as fuel to produce energy. Okay, totally different system to the anaerobic system. how do we increase endurance? Endurance should be increased gradually. Okay? Like, let's just say you want to start an exercise program today and you haven't done it for years. I don't expect you to run a 42-kilometre marathon. Okay? You start slowly. When you walk, you should be able to speak to the other person. That's the pace you should be at. If you can't speak to the other person and you're breathing in too deeply, you're going too fast. Ease back. And as you get stronger, you'll find that you'll get more oxygen into the lungs. The heart rate goes down, so then you have to work a little bit harder. And that's the term, you'll get more healthier. So gradually increase, so you increase your endurance gradually. Exercising to start off with mildly, if you haven't exercised for a long time, to moderately as you get stronger and stronger. And the time is 20 to 30 minutes. If you can do more, fantastic. But that's sort of the recommended time, 20 to 30 minutes. And what they found is some people, especially the elderly, can't always exercise 30 minutes. It could be too much for them. But what they found is if they do bouts of 10 minutes, let's say in the morning, 10 minutes at lunchtime and 10 minutes in the evening, it's the same effect as walking for half an hour. So that's amazing, the research that they've found probably in the last couple of years. You still get that same effect because your body is moving. So 20 minutes of cycling, walking, swimming, whatever suits. The cardiovascular benefits of endurance training. It increases, remember, the heavenly HDLs? They're the good ones. They're the ones you want to increase after 12 weeks of training. Also, it decreases blood pressure and it helps with insulin sensitivity, especially those who are pre-diabetic, and will help also those who are diabetic. Help with that insulin. What is the best form of, I've just given you the answer. The best form of exercise we know is walking. Walking is amazing because, number one, there's no impact. There's hardly any impact on your knees, hardly any impact on your back, and you can do it for a longer period of time. So it's a tranquilizer without the pill. It's exercise without a gym. It's a gym without the equipment. It's a therapy without the psychoanalyst. How many times you may have been really stressed and it's like, you know what, I need to get out and go for a walk. You go for a walk, you come back, do you feel better? Of course you do, because it actually helps with the hormones and helps you relax and also helps de-stress. Especially out in nature. I just went for a walk before and I just feel absolutely amazing. It's a vacation without the cost. But also, the beauty of it, it's the fountain of youth. It takes away anger, anxiety. It is at any time and fits into anyone's schedule. And you know what? It's free. It doesn't cost us anything. There is no exercise that can take the place of walking. By it, the circulation of the blood is greatly improved. Walking, in all cases where it is possible, is best remedy for diseased bodies, because in this exercise, all the organs of the body are brought into use. So when you go for a walk, you're using everything in your body. Isn't that beautiful? This was written over 100 years ago. Research now is proving what this is saying. The world is proving that exercise, walking, is the best form of exercise you can do. So, God had it right. As I said, and God said, not what Carla said. Doesn't matter what Carla says. God says it. And pen of inspiration, the testimonies of our sister Ellen White are 100% correct. because they inspired. The same Holy Spirit inspired by the Bible is the same Holy Spirit that inspired her. There's no difference. Muscle strength. Muscle strength is also very important to keep the muscles active. As I said to you, there are two different types of systems. You've got the aerobic, where I've just spoken about, doing something for 20 to 30 minutes. Now we've got anaerobic. Okay, we still need to exercise those muscles. So, muscle strength. Another component of physical fitness is muscle strength. The bigger the muscle, the larger the muscle fibers are to do the work. For example, you have a wire cable. The larger the wires, the stronger the cable you have. But you see, the muscle might look big on the outside, but it doesn't mean it's actually big on the inside. It could contain fat. Okay, so size can be quite deceptive when it comes to strength. Reasons for strength training. Why should we do resistance training or weight training? Now, weight training you should do at least 3 times a week. At least. And the thing with weight training is you must have a day break in between. So you might do some cardio, go for a walk, but then you do some weights. 3 times a week is fantastic to do weights. If you can do 4, fantastic. But make sure you have a day break in between when you're doing resistance training, because when you train, you know how you feel sore the next day in your muscles? That means you've torn the muscle. It's called hypertrophy. The body has to repair itself, and it needs to recover, so you need to give it a day or so to recover. And that's why it's really important that you're tearing the muscle, the body repairs. You're tearing the muscle, the body repairs, and you get stronger and stronger. You get more blood vessels to the area. So it's really important to make sure that you have at least a day rest in between a training session. But if you're doing upper body and lower body, that's a totally different story. I'm talking about a whole body workout. So the reasons for resistance training or strength training or weight training. Avoid muscle loss. That's the thing. You're not doing resistance training, you're going to get muscle loss. Also, avoid metabolic rate reduction. It increases the muscle mass because you're tearing the muscle. It rebuilds, tear the muscle, rebuilds, and that's how you get stronger and stronger and you get bigger muscles. It increases the metabolic rate. It also helps with reducing body fat. Remember I said to you last night, there are 2 different forms. When you do resistance training, you put on muscle, but then you're also losing the body fat. And that's what you want to lose. You want to lose the body fat and have strong muscles. It also helps with, as I said to you, the bone mineral density. Those with osteoporosis, those with osteoarthritis should be doing some sort of weight-bearing exercise. And it will depend on the type of weight-bearing exercise depending on what injury you have. So normally you'd work with your personal trainer or your physio or whoever it may be to give you the best program outcome. You can also do body weight resistance exercises. So there are many, many forms of exercises you could do. It also helps with glucose metabolism. It helps to reduce lower back pain. Has everyone ever heard of the pelvic core? The core, this day and age, the core is the key. Getting the core and the pelvis strong helps to eliminate a lot of other issues in the body because it actually helps to get your body aligned. It also helps to reduce blood pressure and helps improve blood lipid levels. This one, a lot of people forget. Yeah, we do muscle endurance, we do this, but flexibility. And you might say, Carla, what's flexibility got to do with anything? As you get older, your muscles get tighter. It's harder to get down onto the floor and reach for something. So flexibility is still really important to do. But there are a couple of keys you need to remember about flexibility. The benefits of flexibility, number 1, is to prevent injury. Okay? Prevents tearing the muscle. And you might say, well, how do I know if I'm stretching properly? A couple of things you need to know. When you stretch, you should only be feeling a pull. If you feel a pain, stop immediately. Or if you feel any form of stabbing, stop. Because last thing that you want to do is tear a muscle. If you've got an elastic band, keep pulling it. What happens? It'll break. Okay? Don't forget our muscles are very similar to that. Okay, so it's really important to feel a pull and just hold it there for about 30 seconds. And then swap over to the other side, hold it there for 30 seconds. So it's really important to keep in mind about flexibility. We should all be stretching each and every day because that'll help with our, as we get older, we'll be a lot more flexible to reach down and pick things up. Has anyone ever heard of the HIIT training? High intensity interval training. Fantastic, but there are certain things that we need to be aware of. Adequate recovery from HIIT is vital in balancing hormones and avoiding adrenal burnout. A combination of high intensity training, other stresses, and low carb diets can raise cortisol levels and create weight loss resistance. So, if you want to lose weight, you've done everything that you can. You diet, you train every day, you do cardio every day, but you're not budging. Could be due to your cortisol levels. HIIT training increases your cortisol levels. So therefore, you need to not do HIIT training to reduce those cortisol levels, because remember, cortisol is a hormone, and it can be balanced in the right way. You need to and once you get those cortisol levels down, you'll start to find that you'll be able to lose weight. So that could be one of the reasons why we're not losing weight, because our cortisol levels are too high. It doesn't matter how much exercise you do, you still can't lose weight. And a lot of people, especially women during menopause, have a lot of issues like that. How long should I exercise for? As we mentioned, 20 to 30 minutes of cardiovascular exercise or aerobic exercise every single day. Once again, everyone has 30 minutes. If not, come and see me. I'm sure I'll find 30 minutes in your schedule. 30 minutes a day. Yes, we all have busy lives. Understand that. But there is somewhere in your lunch break. I don't know, you might get half an hour lunch break, whatever it may be. At peak endurance, at least, if you can do every day, better, at least every second day. Do some form of exercise every day. Now, you might ask, well, Carla, I don't know what the safest heart rate to be for me, because everyone's heart rate's always going to be different. And you need to be at a point where you know you're in the safe range, because if you go too high, you've got higher risk of other things if you haven't exercised for a long time. So what's really important is, this is the calculation. It's 220 minus your age, and then it's multiplied by 70%. So I'll show you how it all works, okay? So we've got 220 minus 35. Okay, so let's say you're 35 years old, whatever your age is, okay? You get that answer, then you multiply it by 70%, which will give you 0.7. Now, if you're over 60, I would recommend 60% if you don't have other issues. And obviously consult with your medical, whoever you're seeing, your naturopath, whoever you're seeing, to make sure that you're in the safe range. But you want to make sure that you don't, when you exercise, so you've got 185, that's the answer, multiplied by 0.7, that gives you 130 maximum beats per minute. So when you're going for a walk, you want to make sure that you are not going over 130 beats per minute. And you say, well, how do I test that? Grab a watch, a lot of the time now we've got those smart things, but if you don't have one of those, go back to the old way. Put your hand on your wrist, measure it for 6 seconds, then multiply it by 10. That'll give you an average of where your heart rate's at. You don't want to be over 130 if you're 35 years old. As you get stronger, You're going to be working harder to get your heart rate to 130 because you're getting fitter. Proverbs. Has anyone ever heard this one? When you go for a walk? This is one of my favourites. A merry heart doeth like a medicine, and it's so true, but a broken spirit drieth the bone. So, who has a merry heart when they go for a walk? Or when you come back for a walk, you feel better, don't you? So, as you're going along, a merry... Has anyone ever heard that song? A merry heart doeth like a medicine. I'm not a good singer, but you get the point. So, and you come back with the happy endorphins, don't we? Well, I certainly hope so. So the question is what should an exercise program consist of? I always say you need to have resistance training in your program, but you also need to have cardiovascular. You need to work aerobic and anaerobic. So let me give you an idea of a type of training. On Monday, you'll go and do some cardio. And that's all you do. You do 30 minutes of cardio. You might do swimming, you might do bike riding, you might go for a walk, whatever it may be. But you need to do that for 30 minutes. And you want to be at your maximum, you don't want to go over your maximum heart rate. The next day you might do cardio with resistance training. Weight training. Weight training can take you 15 minutes. It doesn't take long, depending on the type of training you do. You can do a whole body within 20 minutes, it's done. So you get an hour, you could actually do a full body workout with cardio included in that. And then on Wednesday, you go for some cardio, once again. On Thursday, resistance. On Friday, cardio. Sabbath, the day off. Or you might go for a gentle walk out in nature, whatever it may be. And then on Sunday, do another resistance training session. So that's 3 times a week. Making sure that you've got... At least with resistance training, you need to make sure that you've got that recovery period. Because what happens is resistance training every day, and then all of a sudden, boom. Because you haven't allowed your body to recover. Because remember, you are tearing the muscle. You're creating hypertrophy. The body must repair itself. And you have to allow the body to repair itself. Because remember, when you go to sleep at night, the amino acids and the protein don't go to sleep. They go around and say, okay, you've teared this muscle. All right, let's go and fix this and let's go and fix that. That's why after a couple of days you feel better, because your amino acids and your protein have gone around repairing things. That's when at night, if your digestive system is working all night, then the body is less time to repair itself. So what does an exercise program include? When starting an exercise program, there are 3 things you need to remember. These are vital. Number 1, you must warm up. Okay? So if you're going to go for quite a brisk walk, warm up. Just go gradually for about 5 minutes and then start to increase. Don't go, I'm going for a walk now, boom, off I go. You're risking a higher risk of injury. So always have a warm up. Have your main workout. Okay? For that peak time, that's your main workout. So you warm up for 5 minutes and then you get faster and faster. That's your main workout. And you might do that for 20 minutes, whatever it may be. Or you might do resistance training. When you do resistance training, you need to warm up for at least 15 minutes at least before you go into the weight training, because you can actually tear a muscle very easily. I get a lot of people come and they do so much. They start to do weights without even a warm up. I can already see they're going to hurt themselves. They're going to create an injury. They're going to hurt their muscles or whatever it may be. So main workout, cardio, weight training, whatever it may be. And then one thing we need to remember: we need to cool down. Okay, so you have your warm up, 10 to 15 minutes at least. You do your main workout, could be 20 minutes, whatever it may be, and then you need to cool down for about 5 minutes. And then the last thing that we do is stretch. This should be incorporated in a program that you do every day if you can. Resistance training, 3 times a week, 4 times a week with that rest period in between. So exercising should be part of our life. It should be each and every day we do some form of daily exercise, daily activity. And I have a statement here. It says, there is no exercise that can take the place of walking. By the circulation of the blood is greatly improved. Walking in all cases where it is possible is the best remedy of a diseased body. Because one, it exercises the organs found in testimonies to the church. Really important. If you don't do resistance training or whatever it may be, start with walking. Start this weekend. After lunch, go for a stroll. It's not hard. Rather than going into a food coma and going to sleep, meet at the front after lunch. Let's go for a walk. Who's going to join me? I don't see many hands. I'd expect everyone's hands to be up. After lunch, go for a simple basic stroll. At your pace. It doesn't have to be, a fast pace. Go at your pace. You might just want to walk up and down around this little oval area. I know there's an oval just over there. Just walk around it, and talk to your friend. And, when you talk to a friend, time just goes so quick. And you should be talking at walking pace. You don't have to be that you can't even get your breath. Okay, it needs to be at walking pace. And as you get stronger, you'll go faster and faster because your body's getting stronger and stronger and it's not getting as feeble. Okay, this is found in Testimonies for the Church, page 530. It says, exercise will aid the work of digestion. To walk out after a meal, hold the head erect, put the shoulders back, and exercise moderately. Will be a great benefit. The mind will be delivered from self to the beauties of nature. The less attention is called to the stomach after the meal, the better. Better digestion, isn't it? This is counsel. As brother was saying yesterday, this is the testimony of Jesus. Not my testimony. It doesn't matter what I say. It's not important what I say. It's what God tells us that we need to be doing. It's one of his laws. It's a principle of health, or it's a law of health. And I believe when God says something, he means exactly what he says. He wants the best for you. He's not saying it because he wants to, rebel or anything like that. He's saying it because, you know what? He wants you to be healthy. Beloved, above all things, I wish you prosper in health as your soul prospereth. So I pray that after lunch today, join me for a walk out there. And may God bless you and keep you, and have a blessed Sabbath day. And if we would just like to kneel and pray. Father in heaven, we thank you for the blessed Sabbath day you've given us. We thank you for the blessings you've given us. And we thank you for your testimony and your guidance to teach us your word. And Father, I pray that we can be faithful in following all your laws of health, not just one of them. That we may be stewards for you, may be examples for you, may be a testimony for you to people out there who don't know you. And Father, I pray that you be with the other speakers today and bless us mightily. Open our hearts and our minds to your word, that we may put into practice, not just, and when we leave, that we may put into practice and grow each and every day in you and get to know who you are. Father, we pray that your Holy Spirit be present, be in our hearts and our minds this day, in Jesus' name.